Alright, howdy boyos, and welcome back to Men for Assault Squad 2 with Robz mod and with my cup of soup. I think I've said this a million times now that I prefer soup over coffee lately, because soup gives me like an hour boost and coffee gives me like a whole 12-hour boost, which makes me never want to sleep again, which isn't a bad thing, but seeing as I never sleep anyway, the sleep that I get, I would like to keep. Anyway, that's not really important to you. Some of you, hopefully a lot of you, will recognize this map as the map that I would do the GSM faction overview or reviews on. This is the spring map for people that still don't know what this map is. It's spring. Forgot to put it on combat, but fuck that. We're not even going to bother with that anymore. It's all fine. It's all good. I figured I would start out doing a Robz faction overview. Obviously, now Japan has been added. I finally figured it was time to get going. Now, all I'm going to ask you is let me know in the comment section which nation I should do next. Obviously, America, Russia, Germany, or Japan are your choices. I'm doing Britain today, or the Commonwealth, or Great Britannia. But that's what I'm doing today. Hopefully these kids outside my window will shut the fuck up, so we can actually get this going. And last but not least, just let me know in the comment section. I will probably get a lot of stuff wrong, but like I said in previous GSM videos, if anything, I really enjoy seeing the comments and the historical backgrounds and basically you guys teaching me some stuff about World War II or about any of these vehicles and weapons and everything. So as always, hope you guys are willing to write me pages and pages of information about stuff, especially if I get it wrong. I'll probably be getting lots of stuff wrong. So without further ado, just let me know in the comment section what you'd like to see next. And if you enjoy what you're seeing, drop a like, leave a like, or whatever it is, like a thumbs up, I guess it is nowadays. And we'll just get going. So as always, we're just going from top to bottom. This is test mode, by the way. And hopefully it doesn't crash. But this will have every unit from 1939 to 1945 in here. Even though there's no well, technically speaking, let's not get into that stuff. Let's just get going, and I'll show you the stuff and zoom in and everything. So first of all, we're going to start with the assault section for Dem British. Comes with, I think this is 11 guys. It's kind of hard to count right now. Let's wait. 4 plus 3 plus 3. Actually, it's 10. One of them, the squad leader, has the EM3 rifle grenade. Very normal for people that actually played the stock game. There's a thing with Robz mod, however, which there's an issue with the some of these hats that you can see. It's kind of behind his head. Other than that, these models are really well done. Way more HD. You can actually see their individual buttons on their shirts, which, if you ask me, is insane if you compare that to vanilla Men of War. But let's not hang around with the, amazing graphics too long, because I'll probably just, I can talk about Robz and, like how much better it looks for an hour and a half. Sorry, I had to take a sip of my soup. For, without even showing you a single rifleman. I can just talk about the graphics for an entire hour, but let's not do that. So we have one Rifle Grenadier guy, who is, actually has some goddamn good range. Seems to be 75 meters. Obviously, the further away your target is, the less accurate the shot will become. And another thing I really find annoying of the Rifle Grenadier. Here, watch this. He's fire. Now, oh shit, there's a tank. Oh my god, there's a tank. Switch to your AT grenade. Switch to your AT grenade. Nothing helps. You need to fully wait till he's reloaded, which just sucks a lot of donkey balls multiplayer. But that's one of the guys. He has 4 AP, 1 AT grenade, and 1 smoke grenade. Let's move him up. Then we'll take out the riflemans. The riflemans. Let's see, that's 2, 3. A lot of people screaming stuff here. That's mostly from company heroes. So now we have 5 Lee Enfield riflemen. Let's fire a shot or 2. Reminds me of a Lee Enfield from Medal of Honor. But that's all. There's 5 Lee Enfields. All of them carry 1 AP grenade. Let's move them up. And then we have 4. I think it's Sten Mark IIs. Yeah, we have Sten Mark II SMG carriers. They all have 2 AP grenades, 1 smoke grenade, and 1 AT grenade, which is the N73 again. And these things are interesting. The best part about these guys is, like I said, they have the N73s, which are impact grenades. They will not wait. They'll throw them, and they'll blow up. Unlike the German ones, which are horrendously bad, and especially in like multiplayer, playing as Germany, you really need dedicated AT weaponry, like an AT gun, or an actual tank, or a vehicle, or an AT, anything but like a rocket launcher or a Panzerfaust. But using the AT grenades to the Germans is like, there's no words for it. Like, I already get sad thinking about it. Okay, moving on to the rifle section. Again, we have, let's wait for the spawner to end up. I think it's, again, 10 guys. Looks to be 4-3-3. The leader here has a Lee Enfield Mark III, as well as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, no. Basically, everyone besides the machine gunner has a Lee Enfield in here. Everybody is carrying a rifle. Everybody has grenades. Obviously, someone else. Oh, this guy actually has 2 AT grenades. That's actually pretty decent. The machine gunner that comes with this is a Vickers gunner. He has a Vickers. Well, isn't the brother Vickers? Am I stupid? I want to say it's the same. Maybe I am stupid, but I can't remember now. Anyway, all of these infantry also carry extra MG ammo for the Bren gun, which basically means that if you count those 8 people, because that's 10 minus 2 for the squad leader and the MG, that's 8 people. If everyone carries 2 reloads, he basically gets 16 more reloads, which is an amazing thing. So if you have to give your machine gun more ammo, go through your riflemen. They usually carry a rifle for them, or a machine gun ammo. Moving on to the commando section. These guys are obviously going to come way better equipped, and especially for AT weaponry. It's, again, a squad of 10. I do like their I was going to say suits, but their camo. They look kind of cool. They have the Deliesel I can't say that. Deliesel carbine. I think it's 4 of them. 4 Deliesel carbines, which I think are they are basically silenced, semi-auto firing rifles, and I've seen these once or twice in Medal of Honor. They also have AT mines, and I think some of these also will have AP mines. Probably that's not true. They only have AT mines, but still, that's still a pretty damn interesting unit to have, especially because they're silenced. I'm not sure if it does anything to the damage. I don't think so. I don't think that's been accounted for, but they do look really cool. Green berets, nice. Like, you can even see the emblem on their green beret. Like, that is the SAS emblem, as far as I'm concerned, I think. I'm not sure. It might not be. Anyway, they're carrying grenades, AT grenades. This squad also comes with Sten Mark VI silencer guys. They have 4 of those. And these guys are very interesting sounding SMG people. They have AT mines, they have grenades, AT grenades, smoke grenades. Basically like your standard. This is like your upgunned SMG squad, and then they're covered by 2 Bren guns. I'm gonna kind of call them Vickers before people get mad. Which, you know, just have better accuracy. They will have an issue with the ammo, seeing as these Deliesel carbine guys do not carry any for them, but you know they still have. Let's see, 2. Like, it's hard to say really. It's like 2, 3, 4, about 7 reloads, I think. 8. About 7, 8 reloads. So that's not too bad. And these guys, obviously, because they're silenced, they should be like less obvious when they're shooting. So like I mean, it's kind of iffy because it's still like a multiplayer specifically. But they'll like, you can still see them, but the silencers might help them to like hide if players aren't really paying attention on a specific side of the map and they're listening to stuff happening. Now here comes the SAS section to be more precise, and these guys are very awesome looking. They have the paratrooper helmets. Which looks like spiders like died over the helmets if you look from a distance, but they're like camouflage helmets which look really cool. They have the Sten Mark V. They have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, and 4 of them. Now, one is armed with the boys anti-tank rifle. I think it's a 0.55 inch AT rifle. Another guy is armed with the Piat. the projector infantry anti-tank, I believe that P it stands for. Projector or projectile? I think it's projector. Let's take a sip of my soup. I'm sorry. It's real good soup. They're like nice chicken soup. They're all armed with the SMGs. This basically gives them very good anti-light vehicle stuff and a decent shot at killing a heavier vehicle. Let's fire that for a second. I like how there's barely barely any like sight from shooting it. Like until it hits, as a player, you have no idea where the fuck that shot came from, which I think is a really cool thing. So let's get these guys together. Then we have 1 and 2. Oh no! You guys stay back. You guys stay back. No. Then we have 2 Bren machine gunners. Armed with, you know, some actually armed with TNT. God damn, TNT, smoke, AT weaponry. Then we have Lee Enfields, which are just armed with your regular, you know, Lee Enfield and grenades and even machine gun ammo. So this is a pretty damn good squad. Now, just to show you that this is also possible, this is a thing in Robz mod, which I think is really damn cool. So we'll just land these guys like over here. We'll wait a second for them because it will take a while before they actually are in the field. There should not be a single different unit between that and the SAS section, nor should there be a difference between these and the mechanized SAS section. So I'll just look around these guys for a couple of seconds, open the map up as well so we can take a look over here. And this is, you know, just like your average half-track with a 50 cal, and the SAS just comes in the back, which actually makes it a damn good vehicle. So it's pretty expensive for 65, but you get a 50 cal half track with ammo and grenades and everything in there. Now we're gonna wait a second for this pair dropper thing to jump in, so we don't have to like worry about that. And I'm keeping the map open right now because some people sometimes like spawn like off the side for some reason. Well, here we go. This time they spawn kind of clear, kind of close. Here it is, 11 SAS. I think it's 11 because it's 4. How many is it? No, it's 10. There you go. I was like wondering what the fuck's going on. So we have 10 SES. The only difference between these guys and the guys that come in normally for 12 is the fact that you pay 100 more to pair drop them over the map. I've not tested this against or with someone in multiplayer, so I'm not sure if they can even pair drop on the map everywhere, and or if the enemy can see your pair drop marker. But I'm assuming they can't. If they can, then it's kind of useless. If they can't, then it's kind of useful, actually, even though you should not be able to like drop people in the spawn. I really like how Robz did that. Moving on to combat engineers. These guys just look like the regular riflemen. They have AP mines all over them. There's nothing really you can nothing really special to show them. Here's the AT miners. Not gonna look at them because they're exactly the same as AP miners. They just look different. They have like different inventory. And the same goes for these guys. They're the same as the miners. They just have like a disposal or like a minesweeper and probably also a TNT or 2. Now these people are quite important because a couple of months ago, I think I should put it, they introduced veterancy. Veterancy for vehicles, infantry. Like you can look over here. This guy's veterancy level is 0. Let's take a look at the SAS. Maybe they have a higher veterancy level. I'm assuming they don't. Basically, their veterancy level of infantry can rise and vehicles, and it's basically always the infantry inside of a vehicle that determines how much better or worse the vehicle/gun performs. Now, I'm gonna just buy this machine gun, and on this gun comes support crew. Now, let's get those guys off of here. We're gonna buy a regular rifleman, and then we put them on there ×2. Alright, my point has been misproven. I was told by Robz, maybe this is something that doesn't work for that particular machine gun. I have no clue about that, honestly. That's my bad. But I was told that if you don't put support crew on weapons like AT guns and machine guns, their percentage over here will drop. You know, will be like lower than 100. Whereas if you put support crew on there, they will always perform to their fullest. Now, I'm not sure what that means and why I didn't do that right now. But that's just a tip, you know, if you're capable to, just buy 2 support crew. They're cheaper than they're 2 points more expensive than like 2 SMG guys, but according to what Robz told me, you should always buy those if you want to reman or man machine guns or anything. So that's basically all, guys. Then let's take a look at the tank crew. And here, this is very sad. This is, let me get everyone out of the way here. Besides, let me get all three of these guys. Get the fuck over here. This guy's gonna put his gun away. So now we have a regular tank crew over here, and let's buy an SMG guy. Put his gun away. And now I want you to look at this and just bask in the glory. People ask me all the time, Sherman, what has changed in Robz mod? Well, Mr. or Mrs., look at this. What? Like, how can you even play with the left guy if you can play with the right guy? Look at that. Look. That's insane. Like, it doesn't make sense to me anymore. So, obviously, Robz wasn't able to, you know, change skins for every single soldier. Like, I know the German tank crew isn't always up to HD levels. But, like, it's insane to realize that, to me, okay, so this obviously is meant for Assault Squad 2. Now, to me, the difference between these is like, hello, 2011 is calling versus, hey, welcome to 2016 or 2015. For a game on a scale of Men of War, you cannot expect like ultra 4K textures, but holy damn, this is just insane. Like, you can count, like, you can look, there's a pocket here. Here, I mean, if you zoom out far, it doesn't show. This guy looks as HD as the other guy, but if you zoom in, like, he has hands. Do you see that? Look, he has fingers. This guy is like a block. It's like a stone. Look from the side. This guy just looks fucking weird. Like, this is not even a person. It's an alien. I cannot imagine. I need to be done with this right now because I can like sit here like for an hour and a half because that's not what you're here for. But if people ask me what does Robz mod do, show them this part of this video because it's the one of the bigger things that Robz mod does is make the game enjoyable to watch for like an actual like enjoyable. I don't know. It just looks so much better, especially textures on soldiers and stuff. So that was all the infantry squads. We're gonna move into the specialized soldiers now. I can just kind of quickly go through these. SMG, you know, AT rifle. That comes with an assistant. And we have, let's move these guys out of there. So that's the first line. Then we have the P infantry, which comes with an assistant. Obviously, all the same. They just have, you know, like different weapons, and they have the same kind of skins. Moving on to the machine gunner, he comes with a Bren gun. Moving on to the commando Bren MG team, which means he has two guys that hopefully carry ammo for him, which they don't. Go fuck yourself, apparently. However, he still has some protection, and they have the lethal carbines, which are, you know, pretty damn good. And then moving on, we have the SAS Bren MG team. These guys actually do have ammo for him. 3 reloads, almost 4 reloads, basically. Pardon me. And they look fucking amazing. They do have like Enfields. That's the only downside over the carbines, but you know they do look kind of cool. Flamethrower infantry, even that is severely upgraded. I'm not gonna really look at this guy right now because I can just make him go away. But this guy, hello, wait, you got to see this. Watch this. That is so HD. The flames that come out of this thing, like the flame residue he leaves, is so amazing. Besides the fact that he actually has longer range. I think it's been up from 20 to 25 meters, or no, sorry, from 25 to 30 meters. And tank flamethrowers, which we'll have one, obviously, the crocodile somewhere down here, which we'll get at some point in the future, actually has an even longer range of, I think, 35 to 40 meters. Just to make flamethrowers a little bit more, how do you say that, viable, because their short range and glitchiness really makes them like an unused unit in multiplayer often. We have a sniper, which sadly enough is still a regular guy. He looks absolutely terrible. Again, look at how bad that looks compared to this. Like, his hat's glitched, but that's not really anyone's fault. But still, like, look at that. Like, the only thing that I think Robz changed was like these pockets on the outside, but like this guy is just like a block. This is like a Lego figure versus like an actual really human being. I don't want to like keep talking about that, so I'll just keep going. And last but not least, we have the officer, who actually is an HD guy. His hat's a bit off, but that's fine. He carries ammo grenades, he carries binoculars, and he carries a revolver. Which I know, I like the Webley. It's kind of a cool gun. All right, so that's all the infantry done. Now, very important, moving up to the transport and procurement, we have the Willys MB Jeep, obviously a American Jeep fitted with an American 30 cal, but the British got a lot of these, and they actually, did use them. I think a lot of them in Africa specifically. So this thing, obviously, most of the infantry like a champ, but in Robz mod will also die very quickly. Even the smallest grenade will kill it. The Dodge WC-55 or 55, which is the thing that people that play the skirmish will know from the from the commando call-in, has a Vickers KVGO on the front, which is a very interesting firing machine gun. As you can see, very interesting. Definitely, I think the Vickers K was actually used on some planes, like as like an anti-air gun. We're gonna quickly switch to HE and show you the damage of some infantry, also because I want to lose some of these guys to get the frames back on. There we go. Well, rest in peace. Sorry about that. Let's fire another shot just to see the effect of this, and then we'll show you the effect of an AP grenade on one of these light vehicles. I think I know what's gonna happen, but just to make sure. Why not show you? And there you go. So keep an eye out on what you do with those light vehicles. Moving on, we have the M5A1, just a normal half track with a gunner and an operator. Sorry, a gunner and a driver. Nothing really to show here besides the fact that there's a 50 cal and a lot of rounds. So these vehicles are quite effective. The Bren carrier, I really like that this is in the game. Has a Bren. And actually can tow machine guns, and I think it can fit up to 5. I think it can fit up a couple of extra people. Let's put some extra people. How many people can it fit? Okay, that seems to be bugged. It can only fit 4 people in there. The thing it says 6, but I don't know. It still has a machine gun, and it can tow guns, which makes it quite effective. Then we have the Bedford OYDs. These are your ammo trucks, one for infantry and one for vehicles. Let's move them out of here. And here we have the one for engineering, which has an engineering open, so you have like the ammo and stuff and like the barbed wire and everything in there, and mines. Nothing really new to show you there. These new things are basically ammo trucks, but they're smaller. They're man-portable, so they're also a bit slower. But that basically also means that you can hide them better. You don't have like a giant truck to sit somewhere giving ammo to your soldiers, or giving ammo to a tank, or giving ammo to a mortar or whatever. You can have a small crate that's not very visible, do that for you, which is a very useful thing. And it does have some stuff in it, I believe, but no, actually that's not true. It's all automatic resupply. There'll be a circle around here, which means it's all automatic resupply. All right, that's that tab done. Moving on to the artillery tab. I already showed you the Bren .303 Mark II machine gun, which actually has the ability to put some camouflage up there. It's just a Bren gun on a plateau, I think. So as you can see, it can only fire 30 rounds. It's literally just like a Bren gun on a tripod, which gives it some stability and gives it definitely some accuracy over the one that's not deployed, like the one that comes with normal infantry. It's actually really cool if you look at this. One guy carries the island, one guy carries the plateau. I think that's kind of cool. Moving up, we have the Vickers 303 Mark IV, which has more ammo, which makes it more effective. How many runs is there in here? I think it's 250. Yeah, it seems to be 250 rounds in here. You can fire this thing for a goddamn long time without, running out of ammo. Again, this thing also has a camouflage thing. I like the reload animation. I think that's really damn cool. And then if we move it up forward, they'll together, move it up there. So that's, again, really damn cool. And, that machine gun is actually quite effective. Now, with the Oerlikon 20mm, comes with AP and HE, I think. Yes, comes with AP and HE. As you can see, it's very effective using AP. Let's roll to HE for a second. HE, way more effective against infantry or lighter vehicles. You mainly want to use AP for vehicles or buildings. You can see, look at this. No questions asked. Really useful, only can be manned by one person and quick one person. Makes those kind of vulnerable, just like another stock unit. This thing is kind of cool, 2-inch mortar. It's a one-man mortar team. Has very short range. I think it's like 100 meters. 110 meters. Does make it very interesting to use. Has a very small mortar, has a very small ammo count. Obviously, this is why we like one of those ammo crates, so you can, you know, quickly resupply this. Doesn't even kill people unless it's basically a direct hit. However, what it does do is it causes damage. It causes annoyance in the enemy camp. And that's what, if you play multiplayer, that's what you want. You want the enemy to be annoyed. You want the enemy to have to spend resources to come kill you. The 3-inch mortar, obviously, bigger mortar, fires a bigger round. I'm not really going to show this because it's literally just like another mortar. Moving up to the 4.2-inch, again, even bigger. I'm not sure how big a 4.2 inches is. That's an inch is like 2.5 almost in centimeters. So this would mean it's like what, 10 point something, like 110 millimeter mortar or something, I'm assuming. Again, please do feel free to let me know in the comment section. I'm not in a position to Google something right now, obviously. So, again, very limited ammo count, so you will need, you know, extra ammo crates or trucks to supply you. Moving on to the 2-pounder. Not much here to show you, really. It's just a 40 millimeter gun. This is just like from vanilla Men of War. It only has AP, CBC, doesn't have HE or doesn't have APCR. Does its job well. It's a very small target. Not much to tell you about that, really. The 6-pounder also, actually, this time one does have HE and have APDS, but still has a low ammo count on all of those. So another thing that you want to keep in mind, always get an ammo crate or a truck with one of these AT guns in Robz mod. Otherwise, you'll run out of ammo before you can say, holy shit, I'm out of ammo. All right, next one, you have the 17-pounder APC, APC, BC, HE, and APDS. APDS is very damn effective against even like tigers and stuff. And of course, already the 17-pounder is very effective against those tanks. Especially, like I said, if you load with APDS, it just becomes a heavy tank killer. Again, those shells are very few in supply, and I'm pretty sure if you want to supply them through a crate or a truck, it costs more supply to resupply those than it costs to resupply a normal AP or APC or APC BC round. Alright, wow. I'm already tired from talking. Is that bad? The 3.7H, which I know is a 94 millimeter gun. Well, hang on. 93 millimeter gun. I was close. Basically, you know, your stock and standard, you know, AA gun. Let's point it down and have it do that for a little bit as we move up to our 25-pounder. 25-pounder, obviously, stock and standard British artillery. That's an 88 millimeter gun. Is very big, as you can see. Well, considering the caliber, it's not that big, actually. You know, comparing it to like a Flak 88, but stock and standard 25-pounder. Not really gonna fire it because, you know, it's pretty well known what that will do. Kind of said how long this takes. It has APDS, APC, BC, and HE. It takes a very long time to operate this gun, as you can see. They're still doing their turning and circling and jerking off of the gun. We're almost down now. I do like that sound a lot. Fire, and let's load HE. To have AP. Oh, AP? Oh, it's weird. Okay, I guess we have a 4th shot then. Never mind. Let's see if we can fire this one and like blow the barn apart, probably. So you can see very long reload, but the front of that barn is just gone. Again, something that Robz mod definitely does. Increase effects of weapons. I wish you could do like a drive-by, like fucking fire it right now. That'd be awesome. All right, moving on with the BL6 26 CWT, which is a howitzer, 150 millimeter howitzer. Just turn it around for a second. Again, carried. No. Again, carried by your. Again, carried by your Bren carrier. Let's actually aim it that way. Turn my map off for a second as well. And let's just fire it at that building, see what happens. It will be a pretty big explosion, I can assure you. I think howitzers use arc fire more than artillery, like normal artillery pieces, which means that they can shoot. They cannot shoot as far as normal artillery, but it means that they can hit targets behind buildings more easily. I think that's what the difference between a howitzer and an artillery piece, like a normal, like, you know, normal artillery piece. Fires a barrage of, I guess, two or three shots. Yeah, 3 shots, I think. In the meantime, we'll move on to the mortar carrier. Carries a medium mortar in the back. It's actually really cool. Also has the figures, like I said, and has like the Crow Man, the 3-inch mortar. It's basically just a mobile mortar. We'll have, you know, some protection against, you know, light shock waves and everything, and especially against small arms fire. But it will definitely be still very vulnerable. I love how big that shell that like gets just like left behind. So the mortar carrier, and it's the 152mm BL626 CWT. Moving on to the Mark I Bishop, again a tank you see saw in Vanilla Men of War. Very bad texture on this one apparently. Not really sure if why you would want this. It's a Valentine chassis with a I'm not sure what this turret's from, but it's a Valentine chassis, I'm pretty sure, with the 25-pounder gun on it. Absolute terrible thing. Would not know why on earth you would buy this, but you know, it made to each their own. And the M7 Priest, obviously armed with the 105. It's the American 105 gun. Well, this is obviously a British variant. You know, I'm not sure if this is even a British variant. Very low res model, very low res soldiers on there again. But let's see what it does against these people here. As you can see, it doesn't matter what it is. In Robz mod, if you get a hit on infantry with artillery and it's close enough, you'll destroy them. However, don't get your hopes up, and you actually need a very good hit in Robz mod if you want to kill people, because usually it's impossible, or because the accuracy of artillery on longer ranges is absolutely terrible, and it doesn't always do what you would supposed to do. Like, it doesn't always do the damage you want it to do. Pardon me there. Let's move it up. It's going to fire 6 rounds, or 4, or 5, probably 6. Let's wait for it to fire. There we go. I think it fires 4. Maybe it did fire 4 rounds, or 5. I'm not sure. 4 or 5 rounds. Anyway, as you can see, the big massacre there after Priest fired. And last but not least, the land mattress. Now we all want to know what that does, obviously. So guess that we're all forced to turn it around and fire it. I think it has, let's see, in a row there's 8, and that's 4 rows of 8, so that means there's 32 rockets in here. Fires 2 barrages of 16. So let's just fire a barrage. Another big thing while we're waiting for that thing to be ready. Turning on and off engines. This button here turns on and off engines. Very useful, especially in multiplayer where you can hide your units in the fog of war that way, which is very useful to do if you're playing against people who actually know what they're doing. Here comes the barrage. Again, on clustered up troops, it's very effective, but usually in multiplayer it'll be very hard to find, you know, a cluster like this. But you know, it's still possible, and if you do, well, you pretty much can fuck them really hard, as you can see. That although it is a very expensive unit in the game, like 1,300. It's expensive than most tanks, so keep that in mind, obviously. Moving on to the support weaponry, we have the Tetrarch, which is an airborne tank, which will be dropped in through a glider. A lot of you people from company heroes will notice that it's like an airborne tank. Armed with a 40mm QF 2-pounder. Nothing really to show you about that. It's in the vanilla game. The Humber Mark II, armed with a 15mm BESA machine gun, which basically turns this into a light cannon-armed little vehicle. It's very effective against light vehicles, infantry, even tanks, if you know like what tanks to go up against. Let's make sure, let's reload maybe not that thing. It really depends on like what vehicle you're going up against. As you can see, like it will destroy light vehicles like half-tracks and the stuff like that. Like for example, a 222, like an enemy 222 will have a pretty hard time killing this. However, that 222 only needs 1 or 2 shots to kill this thing itself. Has 15mm of armor, so it's not that great. going crazy from that sound. All right. Moving on, next we have the Daimler AC Mark 1, or the Daimler Armored Car Mark 1. Again, nothing really here. It's, you know, the standard Daimler Mark 1 from the game. 40mm 2-pounder. The Cruiser Mark 1, the Cruiser Mark 2, sorry, the Cruiser Mark 1 and the Cruiser Mark 3. I thought it was the 2. These tanks are interesting. They have 2 large machine gun turrets. Well, this guy probably doesn't anymore, but the Mark 1 has 2 large machine gun turrets, very little to no armor. It's not much to tell you about it, really. It's a tank I would skip, if at all possible. Then we have the Cruiser Mark 3, which is obviously an upgrade of the Cruiser Mark 1. Same armor, however, a lot more speed, and those machine guns, they got rid of those because they realized they were useless. It actually carries smoke, which is a kind of a cool thing. Let's take a look at that. It's like a grenade timer on a tank, but it does work. And they can actually fill to quite a big extent. There's some vehicles in the game that have some very big smoke canisters, so it can be very effective if used correctly. All right, let's move it up. Then we have the Matilda Mark 1, a very stupid-looking tank. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled, and I will take a drink of my coffee, or my soup, because I'm losing my voice already. Do not be fooled by this thing. It says 60mm. That's an absolute lie. I've seen AT rifles kill this from the front. Does not mean that this tank is not amazing. It has a smoke gun, again, as you can see. But that's not the big thing. This thing actually has 2 smoke guns, apparently. As you can see in both of the turrets. But this thing is armed with a 12.7mm machine gun, which basically is like, you know, it's like a 50 cal. As you can see, light vehicles eat your heart out. This is a killer of light infantry, light vehicles, anything that you can imagine that gets killed by a 50 cal, this thing will probably beat it. It's slow, which means that you can't rush with it, which actually I enjoy, because that means I won't be like an idiot too often with it. And it has tracks, so that the wheels cannot be shut off of it, so like you cannot like immobilize it with just grenades. And probably the best thing about it, let me turn some of these things off. The best thing about it, it has a lot of ammo for that 50 cal, so keep that in mind. It's a very interesting vehicle. Moving on, we have the Mark II, Mark III, I misread that. The Mark III Valentine, you know, pretty known from the game. Early war tank, used a lot in Africa. Actually has some decent armor, although that 65 is a lie, and I would not put this up against like a Panzer IV-G, because it won't win. Moving on to the Stuart I, used obviously in Africa a lot. The Americans got these, or the British got these from the Americans. 38mm of armor, and should have 3 machine guns. Like one in there, one in there, and for some reason, does it work? Okay, that's that. Oh, it doesn't work. I was really hoping that these 2 would actually work with this 3rd one. It doesn't seem to work. All right, well, anyway, 37mm gun, nothing really to expect from that. Moving on to the Stuart Mark 6. Obviously, the upgun version of the Stuart has a little bit more armor. Same gun, or sorry, it doesn't have more armor. Well, actually has more armor on some sides. In the side of the turret, especially. Nothing really much more other than that. I think it's like a tank used in Normandy for a while, and then I think in Italy as well. But I don't really see it used for Stuarts, especially like mid to late game. The Crusader AA-2, very, very dangerous tank if you do not have a counter to it. Obviously, armed with 2 20mm AA guns, or 2 20mm Oerlikons, which basically is this thing times 2. This thing, however, isn't the biggest thing. This thing, however, the Crusader AA, which is armed with a single 40mm Bofors gun, is insane. Like, you don't even need to aim with this thing anymore. And there's another thing why people should get Robz mod instead of the vanilla game, but, you know, that's my opinion. I like it when shit blows up like that. That was awesome. As you can see, it's not hard to use a 40mm autocannon. Now, obviously, this is from the back. Be like, oh my god, Sherman, this is so easy to kill people. I've killed Panzer IV Gs. I've killed Stugs with this thing because it can fire it so quick and it's pretty mobile, especially compared to the one that isn't there actually one in here. I'm kind of surprised that there's not like one in here, but it's damn fucking effective. And I would not want to like have like a 1v1 in like any tank other than like a Tiger or higher with this thing. So keep that in mind. That's that is that tab done. Moving on to the tank support. The M3 Grant, obviously the English copy or the English version of the American M3 Lee. One thing that is pretty different, I think, between these is that there's no top cake on the Gonzo calls this a wedding cake. Let's take a sip of my soup. 1 second. And I think on the British version, the top machine gun was removed. I'm not sure why. It still has a coaxial right here, and it has a whole machine gun right here. But there should be a top one that I'm not sure if it works. We do have the top 37mm cannon, which isn't an auto cannon, sadly enough, but it still works. But the thing obviously in here is a 75mm, which isn't really effective, but it can still destroy shit. And I think it's the same 75mm as on the Sherman. 1, 2, hang on. Yep, it's the same 75mm M3. Let's keep the Sherman here for a second. We're going to go through the other ones first. The Mark 6 Crusader obviously saw a lot of action in Africa. Not really a great tank. Has a good gun, but in return has bad armor, and it's a small tank. That's probably the only thing it has besides the gun, but I don't like the Crusader. I don't like it at all. Moving on to the Mark 7 Cromwell, or is this Mark 8? It's hard to think. I think it's actually Mark 8. Yeah, it's Mark 8. I thought it's hard to read. 75mm gun, pretty good armor, but that armor is not all around the front. I'm pretty sure it's only in the turret, and the hull on this is pretty damn weak. It does have 2 machine guns. It does have the VESA machine gun, which is one of my favorite machine guns in the game for vehicles to have. And it just looks so British. I don't know what to say about the Cromwell. It just looks so British. Moving on to the Mark 8 Cromwell with the 95mm. Obviously, this is something in a vanilla game. Pretty damn interesting unit. You know, it has HE. Doesn't have heat, so keep that in mind. Only has HE shells. Makes for quite a decent, you know, SPAA, self-propelled. Sorry, SPG. Makes for a pretty interesting self-propelled gun. Decent mobility, decent gun size, but you know, it wouldn't kill big vehicles because it has no heat. It's kind of an issue with that vehicle. Moving on to the Mark IIA Matilda, the upgunned, where the ever the remain of this. So now it's, well, besides some tanks, it's almost quiet right now. As I was saying, it's basically the upgunned version of the Matilda Mark 1. It actually has a gun this time, not like a machine gun, but an actual gun. It has decent armor, and this tank is kind of scary. It doesn't have good penetration, and it only has AP shells. But God, will this thing ruin your day if you're not prepared for it. Especially AT grenades, it will not give a fuck about. And AT rifles cannot even ping this thing. So, moving on to the Sherman 2, same gun as the M3 Grant or M3 Lee. Very iconic looking tank. Has no top machine gun. Does have 2 machine guns, one in the hull, one in the coaxial position. And basically, this is the stock, like the, I'd say upgun version of a Cromwell, just because I just prefer Shermans over Cromwells. Moving on to the Sherman 2A, which is the 76mm M1A2 gun, which is top gun in World of Tanks. I know that actually. Doesn't have a 50 cal on the roof or a 30 cal. Does have a coaxial 30 and a 30 cal in the hull. Oh, it's a Sherman engine. I do think this tank looks really cool. Very bland though, like no markings or anything on it, but it does look really cool. And isn't that like what you're looking for in tanks, right? Cool looking tanks. The Sherman 5, which is a upgraded Sherman, obviously. Doesn't have a long barrel 76, however it does have the 75 M3 again. Has a 50 cal on the roof, which does make it quite effective against infantry. And that's something that I would definitely take over the Sherman 2. However, the Sherman 2A has at least a 76 gun, whereas the Sherman 5 doesn't have that anymore. So you're losing some penetration for more anti-infantry capabilities, which basically makes this a lot more of an infantry support tank than the Sherman 2A. The Sherman 5 Tulip, this is pretty standard in the stock game. You know, I wouldn't buy it even if I got it for free, but you get 2 rockets. They're 93 millimeter rockets. It seems to be very good. Honestly, in game, it's just terrible. Doesn't really do the job. It's just not accurate enough. It's not like rockets need to be fired in volume, especially in the World War II period. They weren't accurate enough. So you needed volume of rockets, hence why Russia would not, use 1 Katusha, but would use like 500 Katushas, because it doesn't matter what you're shooting at with 500 Katushas, you're gonna fucking destroy it. So that's kind of the thing with rockets in World War II in general. In this thing, you just need the amount of ammo and not just the bit size. Well, I guess size kind of makes up for it if you have like a very large size, but for 93 millimeter rockets and a long reload time, it's not really worth to get the Tulip in my opinion. Then we have the Mark IV Churchill, the first Churchill that you can get in any game. Very or one-ish looking. Also, Churchills were kind of like what were one-ish looking / designs. Very un-HD. This is like a texture he didn't get from himself, obviously. 57 millimeter gun. Has a good gun, has good armor. Armor is only limited to the hull. The turret of the Churchill should be, according to what I know, should be pretty damn bad on the turret. So that's the thing you want to watch out for, either whether you're using it or if you're shooting at it. The turret on this is quite terrible. Moving on, one of my favorite tanks for the British, the Commonwealth 1. It looks so good. And it has that weird 77 millimeter gun. Has decent armor on the turret, I believe, not so much on the hull. I think it's just I think it's a Cromwell, let me turn the map off. I think it's a Cromwell hull. I think it's an upgraded Cromwell hull, or actually just like a straight Cromwell hull, but it has an upgraded turret with a 77mm gun. Like I said, I do really love the Comet, and it's probably one of my favorite tanks to buy as the British, because I like medium tanks with good guns, and this is a damn good gun. Especially the APDS on this is just actually insane. And like I said, it's pretty damn mobile for a 36 speed, and it's the same speed as a Cromwell, but it's a bigger gun, better, and more armor. So why not? One of my other favorite tanks, the Mark 8 Challenger. This is a 76mm Mark IV AT gun on a pretty still mobile chassis. I'm not sure what chassis it is, but it's basically a tank destroyer. Has a ginormous gun, as you can see. Ginormous turret. This actually was introduced to World Tanks a couple of patches ago when the British tank destroyers were released. And these things are, in my opinion, like the turret ones. And I think they're kind of fucking cool. I don't know what about them, but these British tank destroyers, they're not. This thing doesn't have that much armor. Their armor is a lie, especially on the turret. I don't think. I think the turret or the hull, it's either under the turret or the hull has no armor, and the 101 is just for the other things. Like if the turret's no armor and the hull is 101, or I can remember the challenge having 20 or 30 millimeters in the turret, but maybe I'm wrong, and that's where you guys jump in, obviously, already writing your angry comments at me. Then we have the Sherman. I'm not sure. I'm assuming it doesn't mean 95. I'm assuming that means the Sherman 5C Firefly, but it could also mean Sherman 95. in Roman numerals. I'm not even sure what that is. The Firefly, obviously very known. Tiger killer. Love the barrel on this one. Has a 50 cal on the roof. And it's just a very great fucking vehicle killer. This thing will destroy shit. 17 pounder on it. Same gun as on the Challenger. Just is a little bit more practical fighting infantry because it has a 50 cal on the roof and not just 130 cal in the coaxial position. Alright, moving on. The bets were almost at the same price. The Churchill Mark 7, 75mm short barrel gun. Well, I say short barrel, you know what I mean. Has a lot of armor, has definitely been improved over. If you look at the Churchill Mark 4, let's take it next to each other here for a second. Very much improved. Definitely has more armor everywhere, basically. Goes from 101 to 150 fucking 2. That's goddamn interesting, if you ask me. Then we have the Churchill Crocodile, obviously the flamethrowing tank, which is, I think, just a Churchill Mark 7, but then with a flamethrower on it, as you can see. And the flamethrower is in a shitty position. It's right there in the hull. Kind of makes it not that great of a tank to me. Range has been up to 40 fucking meters. Went up from 30 to 40, which makes this a very interesting unit to use. Not so much this particular flamethrower tank, but you know, for example, a Sherman Crocodile is pretty damn good in this mod. You know, with the turret flamethrower, and this thing is actually quite scary. Not gonna lie, it is quite a nightmare tank to fight against if you don't know what you're doing. Then the Churchill AVRE, again a Churchill 7 with a massive 290mm spigot gun. Doesn't have big range. We'll take a look at that in a second. It has a range of 150, which isn't that big compared to other stuff in this. But goddamn, watch this. You what, mate? You have a problem with that tank. I've seen Tigers blow up due to frontal direct hits. It doesn't matter what you're firing at with this thing. You're firing a massive tube of fucking explosives at someone. It's gonna die. It's gonna die. I think each shell weighs 120 kilograms. Am I correct in saying that? Yes, that makes about sense. If the total of 30 shells with, yeah, that's a 120 kilogram shell flying into your fucking door, you're gonna get fucked. And that's just the, you know, let me buy a Centurion. I'm gonna change this thing around. Centurion, obviously, very beautiful tank, well known in Vanilla Men of War. I really dislike the Centurion. I think it's absolute shit. I don't like how it looks, and if anything, always my gun gets fucked up by tanks I'm firing at. But let's look at this. That was the front of a Centurion Mark II. Now it's a burning piece of shit. So keep in mind what you're doing. Again, I'm not really liking these British tanks because it still has the same, has better armor, but it's the same 76mm gun as on a Firefly and on the Challenger. So I never really see the reason why I want one of these if you can buy two Sherman Fireflies and buy like another Tulip for the same price almost. So I'm not really liking this tank in general, also in this mod. Then we have the Archer, which is a reverse mounted gun on a Crusader chassis, I think, which in theory should go quicker in reverse than it goes in because it's like a reverse mounted, so it technically should go faster in reverse. I'm not sure it doesn't do that in this mod. No armor, but it still has a 76mm Mark IV gun, which again doesn't have that much armor and costs a lot of points. So I mean, I'd rather have this tank for 100 more points, so you have actually some armor to speak of. Then the Achilles 1C, same story, same thing. It's basically Wolverine with a bigger turret a bigger gun on it. It does look really damn cool. No point in having this thing at all. It only has one defensive machine gun, which can only point like very towards the back. Still better than the Archer, which has nothing, but you know what I mean. I don't know why I want to buy any of these, honestly. I just buy Firefly. Even the speed is the same, I'm pretty sure. 34 to... Where's the Firefly? Where's the Firefly? 34 to 33. So for one more speed, I don't think so. Last but not least, not all of these vehicles are important. I'll go through all of them just to show you. Obviously, the Churchill AVRE you've already seen. You've already seen the Firefly. You've already seen the Crocodile. You've already seen the 95mm Mark 6 Churchill. Or sorry, Mark 8 Cromwell, even though it says here Mark 7, Mark 6. these are just units that you can either spend these special points on, or you can spend, you know, for example, manpower on it. It's basically just a way of Robz to like kind of give you more options. The Tulip you've also seen. So now it only leaves us with the Black Prince and the Royal Engineers. I'll show it relatively. It's just two 25-pounders without any like trucks with them, which kind of sucks. So that's basically all the stuff. Now the Royal Engineers come with these Dodge trucks. I'll just get them out of there for a second. These are all armed. Let's get them out of there. Come on. They have TNT and mines. Now, AT mines, AP mines, TNT, you know, fortifications. Their truck is pretty shit. Nothing in there. You're gonna get 6 of them. What I've learned, however, and what I've done is I was playing a game with Carly once, and the only thing I could call in was Royal Engineers. But if you get 20 points to call them in, and they're only 1 point, I'll show you what that looks like. According to my calculations, and I might be off one. Let's do this. Hang on. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. These are 20. These are 20 points. This is 20 points worth of stuff. Now, in each car, there are 6 people, so 620, 120 guys. And if we look at one guy, it doesn't really matter who I pick out, if it's a driver or like one of these other guys. They have 3 on their Sten Mark 3, and they carry TNT and stuff. So you basically have 120 infantry with SMGs and like heavy AT weaponry that you can use, and that's something I did when I was playing with Carly like a long time ago. I did like a British multiplayer in like 1941, I think, and this is the only special point unit I could call in. 120 points, 20 points, but you still get 120 infantry with that, and all their shitty trucks, which are pretty shit. But yeah, I would not want to face all that. It looks quite intimidating though, honestly, and Men of War is like going crazy right now. And last but not least, the Black Prince, which is a really cool unit. It's a Churchill Mark 7, but it has a 76mm gun, which is a amazing, cool looking turret. And this thing is quite damn impressive. It has the armor that you get, that you want. It has the gun that you want. It doesn't have the speed that you want. But I would prefer taking this thing over the Centurion any day of the week, especially because most of these other units aren't that great, besides maybe the AVRE or maybe a Firefly for special points. But if you have 14 points left of the like in a match and you want like a good tank, get the Black Prince. It's always been one of my favorites. Woo! Alright, so well, that's me being absolutely lost my voice right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to stay awesome, and I'd love to see you in the next video where I'll follow your votes and see what nation you guys picked. So see you in the next one. Don't forget to stay awesome. Cheers.